What's up, douchebags? Busted out the Al Pacinos because I'm gonna prove something to you all. Okay, so allegedly I'm locked out of the Twitter right now because they were making me authenticate to prove I'm not a bot, and I did that. And since like normally, if the old Twitter person was in control of it, right now the account would be suspended. But because Elon bought it, or the people behind Elon bought it to have it be more free speechy, all they can really do is lock it out and claim that I've tried to log in too many times, and then eventually let that Twitter load. So you might not be seeing it right now, and I guarantee you the reason why is because there's some douchey losers who probably lived through Stargate, who saw the episodes, the period Stargate parodies I made, and can't handle the truth literally about the shit I said about Democrats being racist and them being responsible for all the bullshit that's basically bad with America, because they're not even Democrats and they're not really liberals. They're socialists. Just like in the 50s, when everyone was being like conservatives are too much war hockey, 50s through 70s and all that bullshit. It's true. That's not conservative values. They were taken over by the war hawks. Just like now, those people took over the Democrats and made them socialists, not liberal even. So in those bullshit Stargate episodes, I was using actual facts that I was making. I was using actual facts from America's own history. And I was making it with ChatGPT, which heavily leans towards being woke. So for it to pump out those episodes with those the way that it did means that it had to 100% be factually true. Otherwise, it would not have made it according to its policy. And there were multiple times when it was trying to say that it can't make it. And I was like, no, is this factually true or not? And it would say, yes, this is factually true. So then it would make it. So let's see if I can pull this up. Do, 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 do. Is what was Plessy what was Plessy v. Ferguson on I spelled that wrong. Uh, case in American history law. Shit. Hold on a second. You're using a VPN and we can't harvest all your data? You must prove you're not a bot. The Plessy v. Ferguson case, decided in 1896, was a landmark decision by U.S. Supreme Court that upheld racial segregation laws under the doctrine of separate but equal. The case arose from a Louisiana law requiring segregated railway cars for black and white passengers. Homer Plessy, who was of mixed race, deliberately violated this law by sitting in a whites-only car, aiming to challenge the constitutionality of segregation. Plessy's legal team argued that the segregation laws violated the 13th and 14th Amendments. However, the Supreme Court, in a 7-1 decision, ruled against Plessy. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Were the judges majority Democrats? I spelled majority wrong. Yes, the majority of the justices who ruled in favor of this segregation were yes, the majority of the justices who ruled in favor of segregation in Plessy v. Ferguson were indeed Democrats. At the time, the Democratic Party in the South was largely aligned with white supremacy and the maintenance of racial segregation. This political landscape significantly influenced judicial decisions, partially in the South, where segregation views were more common. Supreme Court justices in the majority of the Plessy v. Ferguson included Justice Henry Billings Brown, who wrote the majority opinion, Republican but often held conservative views on race issues. Justice Melville Fuller, Democrat. Justice Stephen J. Field, Democrat. Justice Horace Gray, Republican, but supported the majority decision. Justice George Sears Jr., Republican, but also aligned with the majority. Justice Edward Douglas White, Democrat, and later Chief Justice, who often supported segregations. Justice Rufus W. Beckham, Democrat. 1, 2, 3, 4 Democrats. 1, 2, 3 Republicans. So I'm not saying one. I've always said that fuck them all, but here you can see that basically they're even say ChatGPT that leans woke, leans socialist Democrat is admitting that the Democrats are the ones who did it. It was written by basically a Republican in name only, a rhino, and the other Republicans basically just went along with the majority decision. So basically, they freed the slaves, everyone got mad, and they were like, oh, to maintain social order, we'll go ahead and rule with it. The Democrats got mad, the slaves got freed, is what it comes down to. Could it be assumed that this was a backlash for the Republicans freeing the slaves? Yes, it can be argued that Plessy v. Ferguson and the broader establishment of segregation laws were part of the backlash against Republicans' role in abolishing slavery and advancing civil rights. During Reconstruction, after the Civil War, Republicans led the efforts to secure rights for formerly enslaved Black Americans, including the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, which abolished slavery, granted citizenship, and provided voting rights respectively. And then I'll summarize all this up for a description. So what I said in those Stargate, again, it's parody, so you can't really do anything about that, but is the information that I used in that parody about American history and about the Democrats being the ones who are racist, is that true? Yes, that's true. That's why they're mad. Okay, so what else did I say? I can't remember. I was talking about was Jim Crow laws put in place, put in place by Democrats? Yes, Jim Crow laws were largely enacted by Democrats in the South following the end of Reconstruction in 1877. Okay. Using Thomas Sowell's logic, explain why minorities vote for Democrats if they are the ones who are racist against them. Thomas Sowell, okay, historical shift of perception, economic social promises, political cultural identity. So Sowell argued that political parties adapt over time and that people's perceptions can shift based on more recent actions rather than historical ones. In the mid-20th century, particularly during the civil rights movement, Democratic leaders like President John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson championed civil rights reforms. These efforts helped reposition the Democratic Party as a party more aligned with minority interests. Sowell notes that many minorities may support policies that aim to address economic inequality, social welfare, and government support programs. The Democratic Party often emphasizes policies such as affordable housing, healthcare, and education reform. Sowell critiques these policies as potentially creating dependence on government aid, but he recognizes the appeal to voters who face socioeconomic challenges and may see these policies as beneficial and other stuff. So could it be summarized that Sowell's works show that the Democrats essentially view minorities as slaves and seek to economically enslave them? Thomas Sowell's critique often suggests that certain democratic policies create economic dependency among minority communities. He does not literally claim that the Democrats view minorities as slaves, but he uses strong language to critique their policies that he believes undermined self-reliance. So in summary, Sowell's perspective suggests that democratic policies might lead to an economic dependency that he views as damaging. So this is a heavily socialist, woke, DEI leaning AI algorithm, and even it is admitting that the Democrats are the ones who are essentially doing all the negative stuff to all the minorities. Who hates black and brown people more than anyone else? According to the woke DEI algorithm, the Democrats. Okay, that's literally what it is. So I didn't lie about anything. Okay, were George Washington Carver was George Washington Carver and Booker T. Washington American scientists who can show American independence and ingenuity. Shit. Fucking kidding me. Yes, is a short answer. So basically, what they don't like is if you can show any time that any people benefit more from them and not helping than from them helping, they will get mad at you. Summarize all this using bullet points. Make a YouTube description about this using factual evidence to back it up with the whole thing from the start. Okay, so like I don't really care if you like the parody bullshit that I did for free or not. I don't give a shit. Okay? Someone out there isn't upset that I made a period Stargate episode parody. They're upset that I used factual evidence from history to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the majority of problems in this country have come from the Democratic Party and the rhinos that are in bed with them. Rhino is Republican in name only. It's not a two-party system. It's a one-party system. They gang up on the citizens. Okay? Think about it this way. The woke AI database just explained to everyone that a Republican president freed the slaves, a bunch of Democrats killed him, and then in response to the slaves being freed, they enacted literal Jim Crow laws in response to try to make everyone they don't like be slaves again. Do you really think those same people wouldn't be like, oh, well, let's try it this way. Instead of saying we're racist, let's say you all are racist. And because you all are racist, we need to segregate everybody. It's the same fucking thing. It's just opposite day. It's like when a 2-year-old is like, opposite day, nuh-uh. That's literally what they're doing. And you all are retarded because you give a fuck about beats and Grammys and shit like that. Because you're fucking retarded. Nothing I said was untrue. Could I have said it better? Am I being a douchebag by not caring about your feelings? Do I say things when I'm not thinking about how it's going to affect other people? Probably. I don't give a shit. That's the whole point of not giving a shit. Is anything that I said factually incorrect? Let's start with that one. After you prove me incorrect, then you can critique my delivery. But we're not on that right now. We're on the factual evidence that I have presented. Prove me wrong, and then I'll listen to you about how I said it. Let's first tackle what I said. Okay? Fucking retarded.